Season 53, War number 3, and we're up against Celestial Avengers. This time my team will be Odin, Omega Sentinel and Shathra. I will be taking Path 1 in Section 1, Path 1 in Section 2, and then a Sauron, Negasonic, Ebony, as well as a Storm Pyramid X mini-boss, and that will be it for this war. I got to bring Shathra in again today. This time she's only gonna be for 2 fights, which are both path fights, but still that's better than not being able to use her. Now, starting off here we have a Sersi on the personal space regeneration node, and I am taking the fight with Shathra. The game plan here is fairly simple. Just do the usual Shathra rotation, so get to a special 1, throw it, and then charge your heavy into a special 2, and the opponent will melt. Now, I didn't get high enough ramp up here to actually get a full special 2 finish, but, well, it was still a decent chunk of damage, and had any of those hits crit, she would have been dead already. So a quick heavy charge into another special 1, and down she goes. Then, next up we have a Domino, but for this fight, since it is with Omega Sentinel, I will be putting on the Recoil Masteries first. So this Domino is on the Masochism Overtime node, which I don't really like taking with Omega Sentinel, especially if they are a tactic defender, but the way to deal with the fight isn't all too difficult to do, it is just slightly risky. So also to start off with, I am throwing the Odin pre-fights on for this fight already, since I will need them for the Ebony mini-boss, namely the shock resistance. The aptitude is also nice for the rest of the fights, so that you have increased potency on your armor-ups. So now, with the pre-fights on, recoils on, I'm gonna go ahead and finally enter the fight. And yeah, as I was saying, the Masochism node does make this fight slightly risky to take. Essentially what I gotta do is trigger the Masochism node with a double medium to put the Masochism node on cooldown, then get an opening and inflict another heal block while the Masochism is down, and then try to keep that paused for the rest of the fight. Now, I didn't get it paused early enough, so the heal block has almost fallen off, so I decided to go for another double medium to get a new one on as soon as possible. This one here, still not the highest amount of duration left, because I couldn't get an opening to pause it, but it is still better than the first one was. So now at this point I'm just saving up my power to get to special 3. Once there, I will do another double medium to trigger the Masochism node, and then drop the special 3 for those plasma debuffs. So at this point the fight is essentially over. Even if I don't manage to pause the plasmas now after the special 3, the damage should be there to finish up the fight, and if not, it'll only take a couple more hits. Now, this was basically as good as this fight. This was basically as good as this fight could have gone, a full yellow bar finish, but there are plenty of opportunities in the fight to actually get clipped, especially with dealing with the unblockable. But out of all the defenders that could be on that node, Domino might be one of the easier ones, because, well, you can get the shallow evade easily against her first medium. And then, next up we have a Kindred on the Never Back Down node, and I am taking this fight with Shathra. And Shathra doesn't counter Kindred in any meaningful way, but I am fairly comfortable fighting the guy, or the opponent, so I'm not too worried about it. Essentially my choices were to either bring something for the Sersi that would be an actual counter to Kindred, or just use Shathra for them both and deal with it. And I decided to go with Shathra because I'm having a lot of fun with her currently. So once again, the usual Shathra rotation, special 1 into a special 2, this time with recoils, and Kindred falls all the way down to that root phase at the very end, and I did end up needing some degen damage because of it. I didn't have a special ready to go to remove it, however, it didn't matter. The root didn't last long enough to be an actual threat to me, so while it did deal some damage, I am not using Shathra for any of the rest of the fights, so I don't even have to use a potion because of it. Overall, Shathra is also very satisfying to use. You can just watch the opponent's health bar melt, and yeah, she's definitely good enough to be used in war, that's for sure. Then we have a Weapon X here on the buffet over time and our overload nodes, and I am taking the fight with Omega Sentinel. She's immune to nullify, so the buffet node never triggers. And then this guy is just basically a punching bag that's fully unblockable. The heal blocks shut down the arc overload as well as his personal regen, and all that is left is just do the normal Omega Sentinel, I guess rotation if you can even call it that. Just get the special 3 for the plasma debuffs, and then that's about it. I did get clipped there due to the unblockable while trying to go for a light intercept, but the defender didn't dash at me and instead started spamming light attacks, which then caught me off guard. And the main reason that happens against Omega Sentinel is her short dashback, so that is something to watch out for, and I probably should have played the fight a little bit safer. Had the opponent actually landed crits when they actually landed those hits, I might have been in some trouble, but due to the Odin's protection pre-fight, I don't think I would have died regardless, since Omega Sentinel doesn't take bleed damage either. Then we have a Sauron on the power snack and 1 too many hits miniboss node, and I am taking the fight with Omega Sentinel. This one is very straightforward, just get the heal blocks up, keep them up to deal with the tactic, and then get the special 3, get the plasmas, and that's the fight. Now here, the power snack node does trigger at the start of the fight to eat the aptitude buff, because, well, the Odin pre-fights do that for some reason, even if they are on a champion who is nullify immune. At the very start of the fight, the pre-fights can get nullified. It's unfortunate, it does hurt my tankiness a little bit here, but overall it's not really a problem. So now I am at my special 3, so I go ahead and get this guy just over 2 bars, try to bait the special so that I wouldn't necessarily have to deal with the power sting damage from using my special 3, but now the guy is just not throwing it, and it's gonna be unblockable due to him having at least 3 prowess, so I'm trying to be as careful as possible to try and not get clipped by it. Finally he throws it, I go for the double medium to get the heal block back up, just to deal with the tactic, and then the special 3. Unfortunately the double medium did give him too much power there, so the special 3 does push him to special 1, which causes me to take the power sting damage from using my special 3. It sucks, but it's not too much damage. All it really means is just a small potion, and I can deal with that fine. Now, next up we have a fight that I don't really like taking with Omega Sentinel, a Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And this one's on the Scared Stiff and Power Focus 2 miniboss node, and yeah, since you can't parry her, there's also the Bubble Shield node, there's a tactic to worry about. Omega Sentinel is just not the best option for her, but she works, so that's what I'm gonna be using here. Essentially, all I really need here is the heal block to deal with the defense tactic, and the rest is just Negasonic's own kit, as well as the nodes here that I have to worry about, mainly the evade as well as the bubble shield node. The root, sure, it's annoying, but more often than not it doesn't really come into play. The main issue is just the inability to parry her here, as well as the hits on the specials counting towards the bubble shield node and eventually breaking my block if I'm not careful. And that's exactly what happened here. Bubble shield trigger on the special 2 there, which then caused her to break through my block and hit me, though her damage isn't really all that high, so there's not really too big of a risk of dying here, even if I do get comboed even a few times. Overall though, as I said previously, Omega Sentinel does get a bit expensive for me to use in war, and fights like these, they just don't help the situation, but as long as I'm not dying, I'm not gonna complain about it. So another potion to heal back to full for the next fight that I'm gonna be taking. It is gonna be a lovely fight. I always love fighting Ebony Mo everywhere. He is definitely not the champion I have died the most to over all the BG or all the Alliance War seasons, and I'm sure this one will go just fine as well. So, an Ebony on the Hazashit Shock and Bleed node along with Conflictor, and I'm gonna be taking it with Omega Sentinel. I used an invulnerability boost just in case. The plan might be to eat a special 3 at some point, or at least I was preparing for that. Then the Odin prefights here allow me to deal with the shock debuffs. Omega Sentinel's ability to not take damage from bleed allows me to shut down the bleed debuffs, and then the heal block from the attack tactic, or the heal block debuff in general to do the attack tactic, allows me to bypass miss with just the heal block debuff without the need to cycle through and get the tracking up as well. So overall, Omega Sentinel does handle this fight properly, however there's a slight issue there. The armor break counts as a nullify for Ebony's hit, so when I couldn't land a hit for a while, I ended up taking the armor break from the node, and that triggered the degeneration, dealing a big chunk of damage. It can only happen once per fight, so that shouldn't be a problem, but here is where I messed up myself. I threw the special 3 while the Conflictor node was not on cooldown. I thought it was due to all the timers on Ebony, but it wasn't. When I threw it, I should have played it safer and made absolutely sure it's down, but I didn't get my incinerate debuffs, and now the heal block has fallen off as well. So the fight definitely took a turn here, but I'm still fine. I go for a special 2 to try to finish it out. He's left at 2%, so I do an idiotic play, try to dash in and use a relic to finish it off, get intercepted by a special 2, then in a panic I throw the striker anyways. Ebony blocks it, and he's left at 1% while I die to the degenerations. So yeah, karma definitely has a way of coming back to you. War number 1, I should have died to the North Star, I didn't, and here I shouldn't have died to the Ebony, but I did because I'm stupid. So I guess we're even now, though I gotta say, I have no clue why I was trying to finish out the fight with a striker intercept or striker dash in, I guess. That's stupid of me. All I had to do is just hold block and even intercept with the striker and I would have been fine, but nope. I wanted out of the fight as soon as possible, and technically I did get out fast. I did get pretty fast out of the fight by doing that, but yeah, I would prefer if the one dying was Ebony instead of myself. However, nothing much I can do about it now. Yeah, I hate fighting Ebony, but it is what it is. We didn't really have... I don't think we had a better option available for this specific war, so that's why I was there. Overall, though, I don't think Omega Sentinel is a great option, though she does work and she shuts off basically everything in the fight, except the degeneration from eating special 2s. Regardless, next up we have the final fight of the war, a Storm Pyramid X on the power efficiency and missing in action minimos node, that's the one. And I will be taking the fight with Omega Sentinel. Now, I have taken this fight before, it's not the fastest fight and it's a lot of special one baiting, but overall it's just get the heal block up, that bypasses miss for the missing in action node or the falter debuff, and then just make sure she doesn't get to a special 2 and you'll be fine. Once again, saving power to a special 3 for the plasma debuffs, since that's the safer way to usually play Omega Sentinel. You don't need to manage your non-damaging debuffs before the special 2s to get all the plasmas, so it's just a simple and easy way to get the damage in. So as long as I keep doing this over and over, I will be fine, but for some reason I decided to just not play it safe, throw the special 3 here, while she has over a bar of power for the plasma debuffs to take her down. This pushed her to a special 2. I cannot remember how many prowesses she needs to go unblockable on the special, so to not have to deal with that, I go for a full combo and I'm gonna light to pause them, striker, a full combo, special 1, try to let the plasmas finish her off, and she's at 1% and gets a special 3. However, while this would be a stupid idea on my part, I was conscious of the fact that I had the invulnerability boost active, and I was leaning on that to close out the fight this way. Still, risky way to do this, but I knew I would live if she got to use the special 3 anyways, and that's the reasoning for this fight. For the Ebony move I don't have an excuse, but for this one I was willing to take the risk. As for the results, we did end up actually winning the war 3-2. My death did not cost us, which was a miracle, and I'm very happy that that wasn't the case.